Hello, my name is Professor Louise Ryan, and I'd like to talk to you today about my new book, Social Networks and Migration. I'm very excited about this book because it brings together for the very first time research that I've been doing over the last 20 years with very diverse groups of migrants, including Polish migrants, Irish migrants, French migrants, migrants from the Caribbean, from Africa and Asia, who've all come to London at very different times, from the 1940s right through to the 21st century. And in this book, I draw on that rich corpus of data to advance thinking around qualitative social network analysis. Drawing on the stories of these migrants using rich case studies, I ask questions about how we can understand social networks. And in so doing, I look at some of the key debates and themes within social network research. For example, to what extent do migrants rely on so-called bonding versus so-called bridging capital? And I do that by really exploring what are the resources that are being shared between various social ties, and can these be described as bonding or bridging or something in between? In addition, looking at how people access the labour market, I critically interrogate the whole notion of strong ties versus weak ties by drawing on these stories of how people got jobs, who helped them to get jobs, and how they managed to build their careers over time. And the third debate that I look at is in relation to so-called homophily. To what extent are migrants able to draw on their social networks to form friendships, but also to tackle obstacles that they encounter, such as discrimination, racism, social exclusion? And so to what extent do they really draw on co-ethnics, the so-called birds of a feather flock together thesis, or can we see different kinds of intersectional identities at play in migrant networks? So drawing on this very rich body of qualitative data, I really seek to advance thinking around qualitative analysis of social networks. And in so doing, I really seek to understand how migrants create new ties in new places. For example, how do they get on with the neighbours? How do they form new friendship groups? But also, to what extent do they sustain long-distance transnational ties back in the country of origin? And drawing on these migrants who arrived in London at very different times, using also some longitudinal research methods. In the book, I also explore the extent to which there's dynamism within social ties, what ties get sustained and what ties get lost over time, and why. So in this book, I really try to answer some of the big questions in research around migrant networks using social network analysis. I've really enjoyed writing this book. I've tried to present it in a way that's very accessible and readable, and I hope that you too will enjoy reading it. Thank you.